humanity.
Okay, I see we have a new introduction. Welcome to Talking Politics. Good morning, good afternoon. We're right at mid-break. I am Robert Press, famous news reporter and co-star of the movie Bring Down the House with Congresswoman Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. My guest today is Miss Renata Raffi from Mothers Against 1900 Seminole Avenue. Please say a few words about yourself, Renata.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm the vice president of the Mothers Against 1900, and my organization here is to stop Jacoby and HHC from building a Rikers Island style inmate facility located about less than 2 miles away from 5 major schools in a residential area that would allow criminals to come in and out of the neighborhood and in and out of the residence with little to no security whatsoever. They're not promising us any increase in security. There'll only be a guard at the front desk who will not be armed, and inmates will be allowed to come and go under the assumption that they need some form of medical treatment.
Okay, and Councilwoman Marjorie Velazquez was on a cable TV show this past week stating that she wants to try and get a women's center into where this supposedly just home situation is for criminals that are still in Jacoby, but they are detainees who are waiting for trial or people who are there waiting to be sent to prison. So they are people who are still in Jacoby. They're not released. So that's what's coming to the neighborhood. Now,
right, and just to point out to you, when you brought up Marjorie Velazquez on Bronx Talks, she stated that Bruckner, for the Bruckner upzoning, as you know, the people were against it. There were multiple protests. There was over $50,000 raised and plenty of petitions. And she went on BronxNet and stated that that's what the people wanted in that area.
Yes,
so I think she's
correct. Oops, we lost Renata for a moment. So
I'm sorry. I think she's completely out of tune as to what is happening here.
Well, I hope to have her on because she is running for re-election, and I will be having the candidates coming up because this year we have something surprising in the Bronx, something that hasn't happened in who knows how long, 25 years or more. We are going to have a primary in the Republican Party in the Bronx for the 13th council seat. We have 5 candidates already announced, and we'll get into that later if we have enough time. But let's go right into it. The nurses' strike is over. They struck for 3 days at all 3 Montefiore Hospital sites at 210th Street, Einstein on Eastchester Road, and East 233rd Street. They got a nice pay raise and better staffing. Now, Renata, do you want to say anything about the nurses' strike? Because I know you, like I, visited the nurses while they were on strike. Okay, we'll come back to her a little later when she gets set up. Oh, there we go. You want to say something about the nurses' strike, Renata? Okay. All right. While we at it, I want to apologize for last week giving you the wrong name of the new Speaker of Congress. I gave you the Senate minority leader. The new Speaker in Congress voted in on the 15th ballot is Republican Kevin McCarthy of California. Now, one would think that California, how are they going to have a conservative Republican? But obviously, there is a conservative Republican in California. While we're at it, speaking of Congress, there are calls still for Congressman George Santos to resign over claims of fraud. He's been sworn in, and it looks like Kevin McCarthy, the new Speaker, is welcoming him into the Republican Party, Republicans part of Congress, even though his own Long Island Republicans are calling for his ouster and investigations are continuing. Now, last night, more stories about Joe Biden came out, and you may want to make a comment on this, Renata. This is now the 3rd time that documents have been found. These are classified documents. First, they were found in an office where he was. Then they were found in his garage, and now they were found in his house. Joe Biden came on yesterday. He was in an interview, took one question, said, yeah, my Corvette's in there too as well, and then ran away from reporters. Renata, any comment on what's happening with Joe Biden? Because we know that President Trump has been dragged through the mud about how.
Right. And yeah, this is exactly what I was going to say, is that President Trump was dragged through the mud through some classified documents that were also found at his his Mar-a-Lago house. He was raided in the middle of the night around 4 a.m. for FBI agents to come, which I thought was completely not heard of, that any president would be raided in their own personal home at 4 a.m. in the morning. I am sure that President Trump could have worked something out with the police to have them come in at a more reasonable time and to search his house if there was something like that. But then Biden all of a sudden gets discovered with documents, and I just feel like it's a complete double standard as to what's happening, that, oh, he forgot, he didn't remember. But I feel like all presidents also do take some form of classified documents home with them. This has been very well known in the political world for many years. So what's the different standards that we're holding up Trump to as opposed to Biden? Biden should be also being held to the same standards that if we're going to hold Trump to, that they found documents in his house. We also feel like as Americans that these are the presidents, so they should have some form of protecting our information. It could go either way. And this is a widespread problem. I'm sure that if you raid Obama's house and all the former presidents, you will find classified documents in there for whatever reason.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to move on to Governor Hochul's State of the State speech. I'm just going to go through a few of the top pieces that have been mentioned. She wants to remove barriers to residential building and converting, that she wants to have higher density in neighborhoods near train stations, rezoning for higher density, and overriding local zoning laws that prohibit higher densities. And she wants a new replacement for 421A, the tax abatement plan that expired. Amending bail reform, but only this is just to give judges a little more latitude in removing the least restrictive standard for serious crimes, to give judges more discretion in sending dangerous people to jail. Slowing down drivers to allow New York City to lower its speed limits under 25 and 15 by school zones. We at one time had a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. And then she wants investments in mental health care, opening 100 of the 150 new adult beds in state psychiatric hospitals for New York City. And that New York State would bring back 850 currently offline inpatient beds at private hospitals across New York back into operation. And she wants to build 3,500 units of new supportive housing units. Now, I know the first item really hurts the community where you and I are, because we're getting 2 new Metro North stations, and Mayor Adams has said he wants 6,000 new units of housing, affordable housing, by these stations. Any comment on that?
Yeah, I don't think that that's a good idea because of the fact that you're not even investing in the infrastructure. It's really easy to build up, but what about the infrastructure? Already in this area, we have terrible sewer systems. 2 of our sewer systems and streets have collapsed on Radcliffe Avenue in less than a year. They have constantly been digging up our streets and everything to make it accommodable for the residents that are living here currently to use the sewer. So how is it by adding 6,000 new apartment complexes going to help our basic infrastructure? We're actually considered one of the poorest neighborhoods in the area to begin with, and our education is not that high for the majority of the people. Are they going to be investing in schools? Are they going to be opening things? Are they going to give us more police protection? What type of buildings do they want to put over there? I mean, I welcome the idea to have great and new buildings here, but they're not going to be putting Gucci there. Are they going to be putting a cannabis store or a liquor store? And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to be going over there and you're going to see junkies shooting up all over the place over there, or doing drugs. Is that going to become a drug haven for criminals to act at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning? I feel like it is a good idea for change. I do believe in change and in building up, but we also have to work on our current infrastructure. Our schools are overloaded. Our 2 hospitals at Jacoby and Montefiore right now, the current wait time is about 3 to 4 hours. And this was just confirmed on Monday when the nurses had a strike. I went to go see them and support them at 1825 Eastchester Road, and they were saying that they're already overloaded and there's not enough nurses to take care of them. How are you going to add 6,000 people to an area like this and not invest in the infrastructure? Infrastructure needs to be invested in first, and then you could build out.
They also, I was at the picket line and spoke to the neonatal nurses who said that they need more room, they need better care, they need a lot, they said. And you know what? Why not sell building two to Einstein Hospital, to Montefiore, I should say, because part of the campus of Jacoby already has been sold to Montefiore, part closest to where they are. And let Einstein Montefiore put in a neonatal unit in building two, because we have a big problem in the Bronx with that, where we have mothers throughout the Bronx having problems with their children. Now, you mentioned education. The citywide, the 4 boroughs outside of the Bronx, student performance was over 82%, and that was before the pandemic. In the Bronx, student performance was only 67% in 2019, and it probably went down even more. So, like you said, Renata, our schools, our public schools are not doing what they are, and that's the reason why many people on the East Bronx choose Catholics, the parochial schools, over the public schools. And then that's another reason why charter schools are making it all over the Bronx, because the Bronx public school system just isn't educating children. Also, you were talking about infrastructure. There is a new 48-inch water main being built across Pelham Parkway. Now, there was a Pelham Parkway task force, which I was a member of, but we were finding out things that were going wrong with this construction. And about a year ago, this task force was disbanded. So there is $139 million being spent with whatever cost overruns that are happening. So I wouldn't be surprised if this project is up to $200 million with no community oversight. And worse than that was the northbound roadway going towards the middle of the Bronx was redone. And then Con Edison came and dug a hole right through it, 6 feet wide on both sides of Pelham Parkway, just right after they redid this roadbed, and put in a 36-inch gas main all the way down to Hunts Point from the Yonkers City, from the Mount Vernon city line. Now, why was this water tunnel built? Why was this gas main put in? I was told by the contractor for future development. Okay, and now we are seeing this future development that is coming about. We see the Bruckner upzoning, which is the beginning of what's going to happen. That's planned for 340 units of housing. Plus, if they use any city financing, 15% of that has to be set aside for homeless. We have Boston Road coming, which is 333 units, which is using city money. Also around the corner on Allerton Avenue, about 180 units. That's 500 units of new housing, of which 15% has to be set aside for homeless people. With these supposed 6,000 units of buildings, I had it out with Ted Weinstein during the Metro North meetings. All right, I said that of these, I'm expecting 4,000 to be built in Community Board 11. With the 500, that then puts Community Board 11 way over their responsibility. And I'm wondering why Community Board 11 now isn't talking to the Department of Homeless Services that we're going to get all of these homeless people in. Why do we need these 2 new shelters that the city has planned to build? The one on Blondell Avenue, which is right in the middle of this rezoning area, and then the other one by East Tremont Avenue, which is also right near the second Metro North station. There is no need for these 2 shelters if you're going to be building these extra affordable housing units. Now, I'm going to have to hold you, Renata, because we're going to be going to a commercial in about 5 seconds. Okay, so we'll continue with this when we come back.
Okay, sounds good, Bob.
We'll give our producer a few more seconds. Maybe he went away from his chair.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll just continue and he'll just break into us.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's continue then, since I don't see our commercial. Governor Hochul has come out with the amount of money that the state has made from mobile sports betting for the first year. The state has garnered $909 million total. Now, where is this money going? Well, the governor's office says $709.2 million is going to education, whereas the other $200 million is going to licensing fees. This is coming from more than $16 billion wagered in New York State. There are 3.8 million unique player accounts that have been created through this year. Now, 5 million is also going to sports programs for underserved youth. 6 million to fund programs to stop gambling or for gambling education, so people don't bet all their money on these sports things and treatment. Now, since there's 700 million going to education.
Do you wish your business makes it to the top list of the most searched for business in the US and around the world? Or are you searching for halal compliant services and products online? Then Halal Finder is your online resource directory pointing you to the right places and products. Let's help you explore halal products and services of your choice as we manage many halal businesses across the world. Promote your business with halalfinder.com, the only plug you need to grow. Our services include business listing, digital marketing, branding strategy, SEO campaigns, crowdfunding, and humanitarian support. On our Compassion Corner, we offer crowdfunding of halal ventures and humanitarian services. In this section, you can make or receive donations, start donation campaign, and check existing donation campaigns. And by paying zakat and sadaqah to our compassion platform on halalfinder.com, you have supported the poor, widows or widowers, orphans, and the likes around the world. Contact us at info@halalfinder.com or call +1 718 822 5555. Get started today at halalfinder.com.
All right, we're back. We had our commercial. Now, let's continue with this $700 million going to education. We heard this once before with the New York State Lottery. Millions and millions of dollars will be going to education. But what happens? It goes in one pocket, and money that was there for education comes out the other pocket. So I don't see this $700 million being any big increase for children. I see it just going in one pocket and $700 million that's there for education going out.
I completely agree with you, because when I was looking at the public schools within this area for my children, I did see that they're not being invested in at all. Again, the teachers are overrun. The classrooms are really large now. I mean, now they're up to almost about 35 kids, which usually doesn't supposed to exceed 25 in public schools. But even this area, they're completely overrun and completely underfunded. A lot of the teachers have to buy their own supplies for their room. If you have $700 million, teachers should not be supplying school supplies for their room because of the budgets that are going on. And so I chose to keep my kids in private school because of many of these factors, based on the fact that they're not investing inside the public school systems, and it's very clear.
That's correct. A working parent cannot send their kids to public school. You have to be able to be there. I was a PA president of the school where my daughter went for junior high school and high school. It became a 6 to 12 school. And my wife was the PA president in the elementary school. All right. Now, there is PS 108 that is going up on Neal Avenue. They're having an annex put in. Now, they're making that school twice the size. And the one thing it's in School District 11. The one thing that School District 11 needs, and the Education Committee Chair Bernadette Ferrara has mentioned this, during the community board meetings, that this district needs middle schools. So,
correct.
I mean, I live around the corner almost from this school, and I see a lot of buses comes arrival and dismissal. All right. I can't see why that school is being made into more of a K to 5 school. Are there more buses planning to be coming in? Are they saying that these new buildings that are far away, they're going to bus the children into? All right. That's not right. Why not build schools where these new buildings are?
Correct. Yes.
There's a building on Southern Boulevard that is about 18 stories, and on the first floor it has a full school, PS 205. As a matter of fact, there are two towers. One has PS 205A and PS 205B, and that's in School District 10 on Southern Boulevard, right across from the Bronx Zoo. Now, here, this big addition to this school should make it a K-8 school, because as again a parent leader, all the way up to the Chancellor's Parent Advisory Council, children are best served staying in a school rather than going to another school. I mean, in District 10, we had a K-2 school, a 3 to 5 school, a 6 to 8 school. That's why I was glad when the school my daughter went, the middle school, became a 6 to 12 school. They did not have to adjust to high school. They were there, and it was terrific.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why this school, PS 108, is going to continue a K-5 school when it should be made a K-8 school to service the local students, so they don't have to go to, I don't know, where is the nearest public school?
Then it'd be down on further down on Rylander Avenue. It'll probably be either PS 108. Some kids will go to PS 14 or
No, middle school.
Yeah, 108 down the block, or 83 down the block is K-8.
Oh, so if those schools are K-8, why can't this one?
Right. So this is what the big problem here. And when they originally were building that, they promised this community and a lot of the parents that this was going to be a K-8 school. That's how come they got the approval from the community to do this project. Then somewhere in the middle of it, it looks like the old principal left. Now there's a new principal, and now they're trying to make it a K-5, which doesn't really suit the needs of this neighborhood. This neighborhood, especially in that area, they need a K-8 because the next K-8 school is down the block, and that one is completely overrun. No, completely.
Well, it's not down the block; it's far away.
Right, it's far away.
You're talking Little Yemen. It's in Little Yemen,
yes,
which is
by
far
Bronxdale
away.
Avenue, right?
Mm-hmm. Bronxdale Avenue runs all across.
Yeah, Bronxdale and Rylander. Mm-hmm. That's where it is.
Now we have about 7 or 8 minutes left, or even less. So let's talk about the Mothers Against 1900 Seminole Avenue. What is happening at Jacoby Hospital? I see the awning, the
scaffolding.
The sidewalk sheds have come down. Has there been any progress?
The only thing that we know at this point of time is that they stated that the scaffolding came down because they were done with the window work and the asbestos was removed from the building. But that's about the only update that they have. Right now, they currently don't have a set date for when it's going to take for a vote to City Council. And this proposal has not been drafted yet, as of yet. Some of the updates within the community is that the Morris Park Association has hired and retained an attorney. There have been a few people from Morris Park that has met with the attorney, and they have things that they need to do and will continue to work on. We have to raise money as a community to pay for this attorney, right, to pay this lawyer. So we are trying to do a penny social for January 29th between 2:30 and 4 o'clock, I think it is, at the Morris Park Association on Bronxdale Avenue. So we're going to try to raise some funds. Right now, we only raised about $10,000 towards this attorney, and we are looking to raise close to $50,000 to $60,000 minimum for this attorney in case if we have to use him. This
event is going to have raffles. There is a $5 admission charge, so
right,
to be done. But there'll be raffles. I understand a large screen TV, among other things.
I think that instead of the large screen TV, we might have a mini iPad to give away instead.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
and lots of
very shy.
Lots of gift certificates to local merchants.
Yes, GNR has contributed. I want to tell them thank you a lot for all their contributions. I definitely want to thank all the other merchants that have too. I think Sal and Dom's has also contributed as well. Enzo's Restaurant and all the small businesses.
On Morris Park Avenue.
right, that have contributed to this great event. Patsy's Pizza, they've all offered either food to give away or you could dine in at their restaurant. So there'll be a lot of great prizes to win over there. And there's going to be an abundance of prizes. And I do hear that unfortunately it is filling up. So please, if you want to get your tables, please send Lori. You can find us on 1900 Seminole Shut It Down Facebook, again 1900 Seminole Shut It Down, and you'll be able to see and how to reserve your table. It's a $5 entry fee, and I think tickets are like 3 for $20 or something.
And it's also on other Facebook pages.
Yep.
It was up on the Community Board 11 page, but the group was told that you can't solicit on the page, so it's on the Friends of Community Board 11 page.
Right. And I think that was a sham because they just targeted this organization. I think it was one individual that targeted this organization or event who is like fully against us. And it's very sad.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but I'm an expert at land use and I should be on Community Board 11. My application's there.
I put my application in too, Bob. I'm waiting to hear. Let's see.
No. I mean, from last year, there were 11 vacancies on that.
Right. There's 11 vacancies. How come they're not filling those seats?
Well, I talked to a friend who is a high-level employee in the mayor's office, and he said I should sue the borough president for reverse discrimination for keeping me off the board because she told me that she wants to make it look more like the community. Well, I don't know what that means in her eyes, but it tells me something, okay? And it should tell some other people something, that if you're a certain, well, the area has changed. So if you're a certain ethnicity, maybe the borough president is saying you need not apply, okay? So I don't know, but I'm also listed as a consultant to the Housing Committee. So I will be sending the board, Community Board 11, my bill for being a consultant to the Housing Committee, as I told the borough president's office. All right. There's a lot of things wrong with Community Board 11. All right. It seems that this borough president didn't want to put experienced people on. There's a union member who has voted 3 times in conflict of interest when she should have abstained for cause, but she voted. And there's a lot of things completely wrong, especially with the district manager, which I can say right here, right now, because it's not at a community board meeting. So I could say whatever I want about this inept district manager. For 3 months, he held a vacancy that Ornella, I can't pronounce her last name, left the community board to go work for then Assemblywoman, now Natalia Fernandez, who is now a state senator. She left on September 12th. I spoke to the community board office at the borough president's level, Mr. Tom Lucania, who said, what vacancy? And it was vacant for 3 months. It's still vacant. I'm told it's a Councilwoman Marjorie Velazquez a vacancy, so she has to fill it. And she told me she didn't know that there was a vacancy. There is what's known as a district service cabinet meeting, where all the agencies just look at Community Board 10 or any other real community board, and you'll see almost every agency in the city comes to these meetings. The police department is supposed to attend, the Department of Homeless Services, all the city agencies should attend it once every few months. But when I was on this district service cabinet meeting representing former Councilman Andy King, and I'm sorry I'm going into a rant, but there are no minutes of this district service cabinet meetings, which are supposed to be done, and we are running out of time, Renata. We have 30 seconds left. Anything final that you want to say? I guess our sound is off, so I'm going to wind up the show. We have half a minute left. I want to thank you for viewing. I want to thank you for listening to my rant against Community Board 11, but it's really against the borough president and the mayor's community assistance unit, because the members of the community boards are really not trained. All right. And thank you once again for watching the show.
Do you wish your business makes it to the top list of the most searched for business in the US and around the world? Or are you searching for halal compliant services and products online? then Halal Finder is your online resource directory pointing you to the right places and products. Let's help you explore halal products and services of your choice as we manage many halal businesses across the world. Promote your business with halalfinder.com, the only plug you need to grow. Our services include business listing, digital marketing, branding strategy, SEO campaigns, crowdfunding, and humanitarian support. On our Compassion Corner, we offer crowdfunding of halal ventures and humanitarian services. In this section, you can make or receive donations, start donation campaign, and check existing donation campaigns. And by paying zakat and sadaqah to our Compassion platform on halalfinder.com, you have supported the poor, widows or widowers, orphans, and the likes around the world. Contact us at info@halalfinder.com or call +1 718 822 55